Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, since the last time I did Season 3, the Blu-ray collection has come out. Let's look at Leave It to Beaver Season 4. Let's check it out.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 1, Beaver Wont Eat.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Beaver, eat your Brussels sprouts.
See, Mom, I can't. My stomach's still down to my throat.
Now, no excuses.
Yeah, this should be the big game of the exhibition season.
Yeah, but I think the Packers will win it. We're using that double win back this year.
That's the old BLU-RAY system.
Yeah, but they look kind of different.
Beaver,
Must have dropped in there.
don't you have anything to say?
About what, dear?
Beaver's putting Brussels sprouts into his pocket.
Oh, Beaver, you shouldn't do that. No action. Beaver,
Yes, Dad?
how long do you propose to sit there?
I don't know. Maybe till I die.
Beaver, I have had enough of this. Now, you're either going to eat those Brussels sprouts or you're not going with us to the football game tomorrow night.
Oh, Mom.
I'll get a sitter and you can stay home. Now, you just make up your mind.
You really mean it about not letting Beaver go to the game tomorrow night?
I certainly do. He was disobedient and he deserves to be punished. He's staying home tomorrow night.
There just might be another way.
Like what?
Well, suppose Beaver would promise that when we have Brussels sprouts again, he'd eat them.
You think he'd go along with it?
Wouldn't do any harm to put it up to him. Anyway, I tell you what, son. If you'll agree to eat Brussels sprouts the next time they're served, you can go with us to dinner tonight and see the game. Well?
Gee, Dad, couldn't we make another kind of a deal?
Well, Brussels sprouts.
I think I can find my way home alone.
Yeah, go ahead, Beaver. Come on, be a sport.
You know something? I think he's gonna stay down there. But I came down here to tell you I'm sorry.
Sorry?
Yeah, I should have eaten the Brussels sprouts the first time he told me to.
You mean because you found out you liked them?
No. I mean because Wallys says you only tell me stuff like that when it's for my own good.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 2, Beaver's House Guest.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
I got my friend Chopper. Every week his folks would send him pies and cakes and junk, and Chopper would have with me.
I thought there were rules against sending food to camp.
I know, that's why Chopper's parents sent him books.
Books?
Yeah. Underneath the books, that's where the pies and cakes and junk was hid.
Oh, no wonder they call him Chopper. Dude, how come you're so afraid I'm gonna be mean to him?
Well, at camp, I told him what a neat family we had, and how we were all happy and everything.
Well, we're happy to have you with us, Chopper. Come on in.
Yeah, thanks. Say, where's your beef anyway? Chopper! Chopper! Hi, Beef! Hi, Chopper. Look, I got a my camp sweater too. Neat. Your uncle doesn't look much like an uncle. Well, he's not my real uncle. Well, he takes my mom out to dinner sometime. I think he'd like to be my new daddy.
Did something happen to your old daddy?
Oh, no. He's at his home with his new wife. Every Christmas and every birthday, I get 2 parties. See, my mom gives me one, and then my pop, he goes and gives me one. Boy, you must get lots of presents. A lot of presents. Man, I get loads of presents.
What makes you think I'm not?
Because you don't go around laughing ha 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 all the time.
Well, honey, people can be very happy without going around laughing ha 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 all the time.
Hey, Dad,
Yeah, what is it, Beaver?
are you happy with Mom?
Right now, I'm a little upset.
Are you thinking of getting a divorce?
Well, of course not, Beaver. Your son was just hinting that I need a new wife.
He was just hinting that I need a new husband. Dear, I don't think that Chopper's a good influence on Beaver.
Oh, sure. Chopper's having a fine time. It's Chopper's mother. I think she's been crying.
Oh, the poor thing.
Guess I better start packing. Gee, Chop, where you going? Home. Pop must have called and they had a fight. Happens all the time. And Mom must have got the weepies again. Chopper said his mom had the weepies. What are the weepies anyways?
What do you think that means?
His mom was crying?
I'm afraid so.
Gee, you got all those families. So what? So my mom keeps telling me how mean my pop is, and then when I visit Pop, he tells me how mean Mom is.
Wally.
Good night, fellas. Well, thanks, Beaver.
I'm really too big for that, Dad. But I did it because I don't want you ever to get the weepies.
Leave it to Beaver.
Episode 3, Beaver becomes a hero.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
And, why don't you put your shoes back on?
What for?
Well, what if somebody should come along? I don't want to be embarrassed by your dirty feet. You okay, Beav?
Sure, okay.
Thanks a lot, boys.
Oh, that's okay, Mr. Watson.
Guess my daughter didn't tie it up tight. You know how girls are.
We should do, Mr. Watson.
You watch the mail, little fella. I'm going to send you a nice little reward.
And then Beaver swam a whole half a mile and got to the boat just before it went over the floor.
Who was in the boat, Harold?
Some rich guy's daughter, and Beaver saved her life.
It was a speedboat, I understand.
Well, there was a speedboat there, but he swam a whole half a mile to save it. That's about what happened.
Mayville paper pays $25 every day for an interesting news item. We could stick $25 in the class treasury if they print that story about Beaver being a hero.
Yeah, and at the end of the year, we can have a class picnic with food even.
Can't we do it, Miss Landers?
Local boy and lake rescue.
Oh, that's nice. They're having a sale at Thorns.
Hey, this is Beaver.
Wally, why didn't you tell us what happened up at the lake?
Well, gee, Mom, the Beaver thought you'd yell at him.
Yell at him? Why, we'd have been proud of him.
For getting his pants wet? What's the matter with you, Beaver? Are you some kind of a kook or something?
Gee,
What's the matter?
they spelled my name wrong.
Beaver, you mean to say all of this was just made up?
Yeah, Dad. All except for me and Wally in the canoe.
As soon as Wally's gone, I'm going to go in and phone Miss Landers and see if I can't sort of pave the way for Beaver.
I'm glad, Ward. Theodore has told us the true story, class. What do you think we should do? Yes, Judy?
I think we should call up the newspaper and have them print on the front page that Theodore Cleaver's a big liar.
Yours very truly, W.J. Watson. You think the guy's giving me the business, Wally?
Well, sure he's giving you the business, but he's giving you $5 too.
Leave it to Beaver.
Episode 4, Wally the Lifeguard.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Ward, I want you to go right up and talk to Wally.
Well, couldn't it wait until after supper? I've had a hard day, and I feel better being mean to my kids on a full stomach.
I didn't ask you to be mean to them. It's just that Wally has a new job, and I want you to talk him out of it.
Yeah, Dad, I make $10 a day and free meals thrown in.
And he gets to wear a uniform and everything.
Well, now, wait a minute. Slow down here. You haven't even told me what the job is.
Oh, well, I'm gonna be a lifeguard.
A lifeguard?
Sure, he's gonna get to rescue people all over the place and sit in this great big high chair they got in the sand. Yeah. Sure. Well, and if we guys go up there, we can see Wally being a lifeguard and touch him and smell him and everything.
Hey, you want to go to the movies tonight?
Well, what's playing?
Who cares? It's Friday night.
Man, I better get to bed early. I gotta get up and take the bus up to the lake in the morning. I'm going with 2 other guys that are gonna be lifeguards.
Maybe a little later on this morning we could start a drive up to Friends Lake. You know, I think Beaver might get a kick out of it.
Yes, and I could pack a lunch, and then Wally wouldn't know we came up to watch him.
Didn't Coach Driscoll tell you that all our lifeguards had to be at least 18?
Oh, no, sir. He didn't say a word about it.
They raised the age limit this year. I just assumed that he knew all about it. I'm sorry, Wally. It's a state law. You're keep your dogs covered, Wally. Here's your mustard here, your relish, and you keep your change in the cigar box.
Do I, just walk around? Alma, Mary Ellen? I'm a butcher.
Eddie told us you were a lifeguard.
Yeah. What happened, Sam?
Well, they got this law that you gotta be 18.
Well, Wally!
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Wally, what on earth are you doing?
I'm barking hot dogs. Out of kind you gotta be an old guy to be a lifeguard.
Boy, Wally, this is the meanest thing you ever did to me.
Now, for the first time, you think he's let you down, but he hasn't. You've let him down.
But gee, Dad, he said he was going to be a lifeguard, and they showed a butcher and hot dogs in front of the guys.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 5, Beaver's Freckles.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
When we finish the car, can we sit in it?
What do you think it is, a high chair or something?
Larry's last
We just
appearance
wanna
on the
sit here
show.
and pretend we're driving. You said we could.
You got that in writing, Freckles?
Remembered, I gotta go home.
Well, take it easy, Freckles.
So long, guys. So long, Freckles. Yeah, so long, Freckles. I mean, is there anything on my face that belongs to me?
Well, sure, you got 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and some freckles.
Are they good-looking freckles or bad-looking freckles?
Ever heard of good-looking freckles, you goof?
Boy, you ugly freckle-faced kid, you.
Doing with Dad's sandpaper.
Nothing, Wally. Nothing at all. Ow.
Dawned on me. He was downstairs today talking to me about freckles.
You know he was talking to me about them, too. I'm afraid I didn't pay much attention to him.
Well, for some reason, he's self-conscious about them, and he's...
Hey, guys, what's up?
Wally, nothing is up.
You mean you didn't notice that gook that Beavers got smeared all over his face?
That's why. We noticed it, and we're not going to say anything about it.
Oh, I get it. Child psychology, huh?
It would be something different.
It's around the face, isn't it, Ward?
Yes, yes, I think it is.
My freckles are gone.
Well, so they are.
I'll be darned. They're all gone. Aren't they, Wally?
Search me. I can't see a thing through that glob.
I want to honor Lincoln for what he was like on the inside. A good, kind man. See, it just doesn't matter what Lincoln looked like. Now, do you understand?
Sure, Dad. Well, I wouldn't care what I look like either if I was president of the United States.
Hey, I kind of like him.
Do you really?
Sure, it's swell. People got something to call you, even when they don't know your name. Sometimes, even people driving by in cars yell, "Hey, Freckles," at me. I think it's neat.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 6, Beaver's Big Contest.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
Say, dear, Beaver gave me a book of raffle tickets to sell for him down at the office. How about getting me off to a flying start by buying the first one?
Beaver gave me a book to sell around here. How about getting me off to a flying start?
Good evening, Mrs. Cleaver.
My, you look nice.
Thank you, Mrs. Cleaver. Wally and I are escorting 2 young ladies to the movies this evening.
Oh, who are you taking?
Wally hasn't told me yet.
Ah, cut it out, Eddie. Beaver's got just as much chance to win as anybody.
All right. So say he wins first prize. What happens? Your pop will take it away from you.
What do you mean? If I was in South America and I was walking along and I found a diamond mine, would you take it away from me?
Of course not.
You sure you wouldn't take it away from me?
Take what away from you?
Never mind, I found in South America.
Look, Beaver, I told you you could keep it, and I meant it. Now, run along, son. Find something to do, huh?
About 10 minutes ago, they called.
Wait a minute. Who called?
The raffle people from the hospital. Beaver won.
A trip to Hawaii?
No, he got the third prize, a $3,500 sports car.
Really?
Really?
This is actually
Hey, did you hear about me winning a sports car?
Yeah, I heard about it. Your parents take it away
Larry's
from me yet?
last appearance on Leave It to
I
Beaver.
haven't got it yet. He's gonna get it tomorrow, and they're gonna take pictures of Beaver in the car and everything.
How you gonna tell Beaver?
Well, I'm just going to tell him that it's completely impractical for him to keep the car. I'll tell him that I'll sell it and put the money in a bank account, and it'll be there waiting for him when he's ready to go to college. Anything we do is always for your own good, huh?
Gee, well, I guess Eddie was right.
Yeah, gee, Dad. Eddie was telling the Beaver that you're gonna take the car away from him.
Put all the money in the bank. We'll keep some of it and buy you a brand new bicycle.
No, sir, I don't want a brand new bicycle.
Well, Beaver, you've been asking for one for a long time.
No, sir. If you're gonna be mean to me, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I'm going to school now.
Well, goodbye, Beaver.
Yeah, take it easy, Beav.
Sure, Wally. Oh, and Mom, would you please give this note to my father for me?
The car was won in a contest by Theodore Cleaver, who is too young, so is going to college instead of having fun. So call Whitney 12738 and ask for my father, who is selling it for my own good.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 7, Miss Lander's Fiancé.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
How's Miss Landers paying the Beaver to rake leaves?
I don't know, Wally. All I know is he and Whitey are doing the job together.
He's always had a crush on his teacher. Why, I bet he'd do it for her for nothing.
Oh, Beaver, you doing a good job?
Yes, Miss Landers.
Say, I don't believe I've met your gardener, have I, dear?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Theodore Cleaver, this is Thomas Brittingham.
How do you do, Theodore?
Glad to meet you.
Tom's my fiancé.
I thought somebody's a fiancé to somebody else. What does it mean?
Oh, well, that means that they're engaged.
Like when Mom engaged that lady to do the laundry?
No, not exactly. It means engaged to be married.
There's something in the paper about Miss Landers.
There is?
Yeah, and it's real horrible. You want us to tell you tonight, or you want to wait till tomorrow and see it yourself? Boy, wait till Beaver sees this.
You know, Whitey, after Miss Landers gets married and then comes and starts teaching our class, I don't think he can do it.
Do what?
Call her Mrs. Brittingham.
How come?
Well, a teacher should not be a Mrs.
Where's the Beaver?
Gee, Mom, he's sick.
Well, he wasn't sick at breakfast.
I don't think it was anything you cooked for him, Mom. When he came up to get his books, all of a sudden he crawled back in bed.
Mrs. Cleaver, I wondered if anything was wrong with Theodore this morning.
No, he just doesn't feel too well, so I thought I'd keep him home in bed today. I'm sure he'll be back in school tomorrow.
Oh, well, I thought on my way home this afternoon I could drop off his homework assignment and his new arithmetic book.
Beaver, Miss Landers brought you your homework assignment, and she brought you a book. Wally, why don't you and I go downstairs, huh?
Sure, Mom.
This is what upset you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Beaver, lots of people get engaged and get married.
Yeah, but I never thought you'd go and do anything like that.
And after we're married, I want you to come over and rake the lawn the way you always have.
No fooling? Would you really want me to?
Yes, I would, Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 8, Eddie's Double Cross.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
You go steady with a girl, Eddie?
Sure. Carolyn Schuster.
Carolyn Schuster. Man, she's kind of pretty.
I want you to have a talk with Wally
Talk with him? About what?
about going steady.
Well, he's not going steady. It's Eddie Haskell.
Honey, I know that, but I don't want Wally getting ideas.
We're going to the show tonight, Carolyn. I'll be by and pick you up about 7:30.
Anything you say, Peachy. But I'd better meet you outside. My father will be home.
Okay, doll.
Freddie Pryor's been grounded. His father won't let him out of the house for 2 weeks. So what am I supposed to do? Sit around and mope? You mean you really don't like Eddie at all? He's telling all the kids at school you're going steady.
That's a laugh. Isn't that just like that conceited creep?
She had this friend, like Eddie, and he liked this certain girl. And he thought this girl was crazy about him. And all of a sudden you heard this girl laughing and calling him a creep. What would you do?
Haskell has a girl, and Wally has found out that she thinks Eddie is a creep. So Wally has to tell Eddie.
Good heavens.
Her real boyfriend's Freddie Pryor. She's just been giving you the business. Huh? Well, yeah, that's right, Eddie. I heard her talking to her girlfriends in the drugstore. They were saying you were corny and a conceited creep and laughing about you and everything.
Never thought my best friend would pull a dirty trick like this.
Look, Eddie, I was only trying to help.
Sure you were. You made up all this stuff about Carolyn so you could move in on her yourself. But let me tell you something, you rat. Nobody's gonna bust me up with my girl when I'm going steady. And you try anything like this again and I'll sock you right in the mouth. All I knew he was telling the truth about Carolyn.
You did? Then how come you got so sore and said you were gonna punch him and everything?
Huh? I had to talk like that. Wally's my best friend, and I didn't want him to think other people think I'm a creep. I wanted him to think I'm a good guy. I thought maybe you could tell me how to make up with him. You know, tell him I'm sorry and all that.
Why should you do that? You're always mean to me.
It'd be a real big favor, Beaver.
Well, I guess I could. I don't think it hurt me being nice to you just this once.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 9, Beaver's IQ.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Where's Wally anyways, Mom?
Down at school talking to Mr. Heller?
Principal?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know?
Because Mr. Heller called up and wanted your father to go down too.
Principal sent for Dad? Oh boy, Wally must have really done it this time. I mean, you just talked about Wally's future?
Mm-hmm. That's right, but it's a pretty important topic.
Didn't Mr. Heller ball you out or give you extra study hall or something?
No, we just had a nice talk.
You know, Beaver, I'm afraid you have the wrong attitude. And if you don't start buckling down and applying yourself, one of these days you're going to come up against a test or something and find out you're way behind the rest of the class. And you has absolutely no sense of responsibility about it.
Well, Ward, he's just a little boy.
Well, he may be a little boy now, but it won't be very many years before he's face to face with a college entrance exam.
Tomorrow we're going to have a test. We're going to have what is called an intelligence test. Does anyone know what that is?
I don't mind taking a test from the principal. What happens if you flunk it tomorrow? They send you to dumb school. That's what they do. You got a whole big building full of dumb kids.
They might show you a picture of a whole bunch of houses, and then you gotta pick the one that doesn't have a chimney on it.
Why would they do that?
Beaver, if you can't tell a house that has a chimney, you shouldn't even be walking around.
Well, Beaver, you can't study for an intelligence test. It's a test to measure your natural ability.
Did you say the triangle could fit in a circle? Or the triangle couldn't fit in a circle? Heck no, I said the circle could fit in the triangle. Boy, Harry, you'll get killed for that answer.
Beaver's principal, Mrs. Rayburn, called a little while ago.
Is something wrong?
No, she had the results of the IQ test and she wanted to let me know that Beaver did very well. He's in the top 10 of his class.
Oh, well, good for him.
Boy,
You're in the top 10 in your class.
you mean I got a high IQ like Wally?
That's right.
Wow, now I won't have to go to dumb school, and I can go to college and have a career. Well, aren't you glad I said the circle could fit in a triangle? Could have gone the other way just as easy.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 10, Wally's Glamour Girl.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Letter from Margaret Bannerman. Her daughter Kitty was in your class a few years ago, Wally. You remember, don't you?
Yeah, I remember.
Mrs. Bannerman wants you to take Kitty to the dance at the Mayfield Country Club this Saturday night.
Last summer, when I was up at camp, some of the beach shots up there were getting letters from girls and reading them out loud. Well, I guess I wanted to be a big shot, too.
You mean you wrote junk to this kitty and she wrote junk back to you?
Yeah, and I laid it on real thick, so she'd really think I was something.
Well, you fellows should certainly be well prepared. Wally tells me you have an extra practice this Saturday night.
Extra practice? Oh, no, sir, he couldn't have said that. Just yesterday, the coach and I were discussing the schedule. He needs someone to lean on, you know.
No basketball practice Saturday night?
That's right. No basketball practice.
Hey, what's the matter with your pop? All I said was you didn't have any practice Saturday, and he started giving me the fisheye.
Why would you deliberately make up a story about basketball practice Saturday night?
I don't know.
Wally, why in the world would you want to get out of going to a lovely dance at the country club?
I don't know.
Well, what do you know?
I don't know that either.
Young man, do you think this is funny?
Well, I did, but I don't now.
You won't answer our questions, you leave us no alternative. Now, you're going to take Kitty Bannerman to that dance Saturday night. I'll drive you there at 8, I'll pick you up at 12. You'll wear your blue suit, and you're going to enjoy every minute of it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. I don't know if you heard, but I was at a big party last week for rich people, and a Rolls Royce smashed up my car in the parking lot.
Boy.
Yeah. On account of it being fixed, I thought it would be fun to have my dad drive us to the dance.
Smashed up my car? My father, a bank president. You say you found this in Wally's wastebasket?
Yes, and there's something in there about loaning his tuxedo. Now, I know he never mailed it, but why in the world would he write anything like that?
Well, Eddie Haskell had a suggestion.
What was it?
Well, he said that if I drank about a quart of chocolate syrup and then a whole bottle of vinegar, I wouldn't be able to go to any dances for a couple weeks. Parking down the street a ways and kind of waiting out in the car for a couple minutes. You know, so I can tell Kitty what a nothing I am without anybody being around.
Son, if you want me to, I'll wait out in the car for 20 minutes.
I couldn't have written you all those silly letters with all that romantic talk and everything. But after you told me how popular you were and how rich and everything, and how you and your folks knew all those celebrities, I just couldn't resist getting letters from such a glamorous, exciting boy.
If Frank Sinatra ever said hello to my mother, she'd probably have to go to bed for a couple weeks.
Your letters were just as phony as mine?
Boy, I'll say they were.
You said you didn't have a car, Wally. Is that one of your friends out there waiting to drive us to the dance?
You know, I never thought much about it before, but I guess he's probably one of the best friends I got.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 11, Chucky's New Shoes.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Hey, how come you guys are all dressed up on a Saturday morning?
Did somebody die or something?
No, Miss Thompson had a new baby. We're going over to the hospital to see her and her little boy.
Wally, you could do it.
Do what?
Well, take Chucky down and get him the shoes. I have his size written right down here and the type of shoe to get, and you can charge it and sign my name, and here's $1 to get yourself a soda, and I'll send him over in 5 minutes. Oh, you have no idea what a help this is, Wally.
Don't just stand there, lover. Let's go.
Let's go where?
What do you mean, where? The new ice skating rink opens today. You said you'd go with me.
Oh, I know, Eddie, but I sort of got an errand to do for this neighbor lady. Gee, I'm stuck, Eddie.
I can do it.
Do what?
Take Chucky and buy his new shoes.
Nah, I don't know if you could do it or not, Beav.
I don't like them. She said it felt fine. How come you don't like them? Why would your shoes with the toes out? But your mom said to get you this kind. But when I walk, I want to see what my toes are doing.
I think you're a very fine little gentleman.
Gee, mister, you don't have to say that. I already bought the shoes.
Well, thank you very much.
Chucky. Gee, mister, he's gone.
Oh, no, he must be here someplace.
He that was supposed to take me home got lost in.
Well, I'm going home. I'll drop you at your house, okay?
Okay, I gotta say goodbye to my friend. Goodbye, mister.
You better hurry up and get home. Lunch is already finished, and Mom's getting mad, and Dad's asking a bunch of questions. Better get home with Chucky right away.
Can't come home with Chucky right away. On account of Chucky's lost.
Beaver, I wouldn't have had this happen for the world. Oh, I'm so upset about what's happened to Beaver.
What's happened to Beaver?
He lost it.
Mrs. Murdoch, I just know that Beaver's all right. Well, he just called up and spoke to his brother.
Yeah, that's right, Mrs. Murdoch. He's okay.
Oh, well.
Oh, well, you don't know what a relief that is. I'm so sorry to have disturbed you.
Yes, sir. I'm running away and I'm never coming back again.
Beaver, what are you talking about?
Well, you can come home if you just lose a sock or a sweater. Not if you lose a whole kid.
Oh, good afternoon, Mrs. Cleaver.
Huh.
Hey, what's coming off, Sam? I got a feeling they don't like me.
Let's face it, Eddie. They've never liked you.
Yeah, but they're usually polite about it.
Chucky would have really run away, or if he would have gotten hurt or something, it would have been all my fault.
That's right, Wally.
Aren't you going to give him a lecture or anything, Dad?
Well, when we realize we've made a mistake, that's half the battle, Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 12, Beaver and Kenneth.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
Mom, did they send for you?
Oh, no. I'm going to the Mothers Club meeting. But I guess, Beaver, while I'm there, I'll be seeing Miss Landers.
Mom, if you do see my teacher, don't tell any silly stuff.
In the past week or so, things have been disappearing from our classroom and from some of the lockers.
Why, Beaver hasn't said a word about it at home.
Oh, well, we haven't mentioned it to the children. It may not be someone from our class at all.
Lunchbox. Baseball glove.
Hi, Beaver. Hi, Kenneth. What are you doing here? I thought everyone went home except for me. I was kind of waiting for you. Are you doing anything on Saturday? Well, my father might buy me a couple of cameras. If he does, I could give you one. Well, gee, I don't know if I could take a camera for you or not. My father's always buying me stuff. Here, Beaver. Take this. I got a couple hundred at my home.
I just hope you realize that wherever you go or whatever you do, there's always somebody watching you.
Sure, Mom. You watch me. When Dad watches me. When I'm at school, a teacher watches me. And when I go to the movies, the ushers watch me.
You say where you got it?
I didn't ask him, Ward. I thought I'd wait until you got home. And upstairs, there's a baseball glove, a lunchbox, and a new cap. All the things Miss Landers said were missing.
Where did the lunchbox, the glove, the cap, and the pen come from?
A kid gave it to me.
All right, Beaver. What was the kid's name?
His name is Kenneth Purcell, and he's in my classroom at school.
Beaver seems to think you took these things out of the lockers at school and gave them to Beaver.
Dad, I didn't do it. Of course you did. You gave me the lunchbox and the glove on Tuesday, and then you gave me the baseball cap, and you gave me the pen this morning.
I think I know my boy pretty well, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to go along with him.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Purcell. I was hoping we could get to the bottom of this. I still hope so.
Why didn't you tell your father the truth? Gee, I couldn't. Why not? But you don't know what it's like around my house. Every time I do something bad, my father starts hollering and yelling at me. And then I told my father I didn't steal his stuff. And I told Beaver's father too. But I really did steal his stuff and give it to Beaver. Did I leave anything out, Beaver? Yeah, you left out about the fountain pen. Oh, yeah.
Tell your father the truth.
Gee, I can't do that, Miss Landers. If I did, he'd hate me. And the worst person in the whole world I have hates you is your father. Yeah, I guess that's because you have to be around him so much.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 13, Beaver's Accordion.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
Return the enclosed certificate, and we will send you our $280 stereophonic accordion for a 5-day free trial. An accordion band is being formed in your locality, and we're sure you want your child to participate in this cultural undertaking.
Boy, oh boy.
You send for this accordion, you practice, and you get in this accordion band. Then one night you're on the Ed Sullivan Show, and a talent scout spots you. Next thing you got your own band, and you're a big celebrity.
Accordion.
But where'd you get it, Beaver?
Well, I sent away for it last week. That's what I was asking Eddie Haskell about. I found a certificate that Dad threw away. I get to keep it for 5 whole days for nothing.
Boy, Beaver, It says here that this thing is worth $280.
Yeah, but I get to keep it for 5 days. Then I'll mail it back. That's why next week.
It says here that if you don't send it back within the 5 days, you gotta pay him the $280.
Boy, I better mail it back on Monday, all right.
Yeah, I'll say.
$7.62.
Wow, $7 whole dollars?
That's right.
How much would it be without the insurance?
6 1/4.
We better come back later, mister. I don't have quite that much money.
Beaver just asked me if I could advance him $7 on his allowance.
Not gonna give a boy his age $7, are you?
No, certainly not. Unless he has a very good reason for it.
My name's Franklin. I'm the representative of the Worldwide Music Academy in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, well, that's fine, but whatever it is, I'm sure we're not interested.
But we are more than interested in collecting the $280 you owe us.
I don't know what your angle is, but whatever it is, it won't work here.
Beaver, I guess this is just about the worst thing either of you fellows ever did, isn't it?
Gee, Dad, I can't think of anything worse.
Don't help me, Wally. You gonna have to buy the accordion, Dad?
No, Beaver, but I told Mr. Franklin we'd pay for the damages.
Well, I got $4.16 saved up upstairs. We can put that towards fixing the accordion if you wanna.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 14, Uncle Billy.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
Uncle Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in town?
Sure is. He wants to come by and say hello this evening. I suppose it means dinner.
It always has. Wally, Theodore, this is your father's Uncle Billy.
Oh, how do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Well, now, aren't you two fine-looking boys?
You're a fine-looking uncle, too.
$10 whole.
Gee, thanks a lot, Uncle Bill.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, now, Billy, there was no reason for doing that.
Sure there is. Don't you remember when you were their age? I don't want you boys saving that up for some rainy day or anything foolish like that. I want you to go out and spend it for something crazy.
Well, Billy, you certainly still have the knack for telling stories.
Well, I'm not telling a story. I'm giving the boys the facts.
Gee, Uncle Billy, I guess you did a lot of hunting, huh?
Say, can I help you do the dishes, June?
Do you really want to, Billy?
No, of course not. It's always polite to offer, isn't it, boy?
Did Uncle Billy ever really shoot a bear in Alaska?
Well, now, Uncle Billy may have been in Alaska sometime during his life. And he might have shot a bear. But whether the two events occurred simultaneously or not is hard to say.
Look at that.
Gee, Uncle Billy, that'd be neat.
I guess I was about Wally's age when he promised to take me to Mexico sail fishing. That story kept me going for 3 summers.
Oh, why would he go down there?
On account of Uncle Billy.
Oh?
Yeah, last night Uncle Billy said that he picked beaver out of rod and reel. He also said that when he gets back home, he's gonna send me the gun that he used to shoot grizzly bears with.
I know he's your father's uncle, but, well, he's sort of inclined to exaggerate.
Yeah, I kind of figured he was, but heck, Mom, he just might give us all that stuff. I don't think he's gonna get here, and Mom wants you to come on home for lunch.
Gee, if I did that, I'd miss him.
Look, Beaver, Mom said that Uncle Billy's all the time exaggerating. Heck, he never took Dad fishing in Mexico or anything.
Trip ticket.
Do you always call senators by their first names?
I remember my old friend Norm Blake when he was governor. He called me on his private line and he said, Billy.
I guess I should have told you more about Uncle Billy before he came here.
Gee, Dad, that's all right. It was okay to find out about it myself.
He probably doesn't even realize that his stories could ever hurt anyone because I guess he doesn't ever listen to himself.
Leave It to Beaver,
Episode 15, Teacher's Daughter.
starring Barbara Billingsley.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Hey, that's Wally.
Our Wally? Ward, I I'd just give anything to know what they're saying.
Well, she's probably saying the same things you said, boys, when you were her age.
Oh dear, I hope she isn't saying anything that silly to Wally.
You've gotten to know some of the old ones a little better, too, huh?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Hey, what are you guys getting at?
They're trying to find out who the girl was you were micing up to in the park.
Her name is Julie Foster, and she goes to my school, and could I have another hunk of butter?
Julie Foster? Do we know her parents?
No, I don't think so. Her pop teaches English at high school. Oh, you know Mr. Foster. He teaches English at high school.
Yeah, sure. So what good is that gonna do you? You're not even in his class. You're just wasting your time, Sam.
Look, Eddie, I'm taking Julie out on account of I like her.
Well, what show are you fellas going to see tonight?
We're going to Spartacus. I'm quite a student of history, and I'd like to see if it contains any inaccuracies.
Oh. Well, don't you let Kirk Douglas get away with anything, Eddie.
Look, they put me in Mr. Foster's English class.
Daddy dear, don't flunk my sweetie pie. Give him a nice, big, easy whiz.
Well, he's Julie's father, and the guys have been giving me the business, saying that I'm playing up to Julie just to get good marks.
Boy, that's the neatest reason I ever heard of her going with a girl.
I was wondering if I could be transferred out of your English class.
Mr. Cleaver, you have been in my class exactly 1 day. Don't tell me you've already found out that I am a monster.
Gee, no. I haven't found it out yet at all.
Do you mind if I give you a bit of advice?
No, sir.
In life, it might just be a good idea to do the best you can and not worry so much about what other people are saying.
Too young to be seeing so much of one girl. You have high school and college ahead of you. And anyway, it isn't fair to Julie to take up so much of her time. She should have the opportunity to see some other boys.
Anybody. It was just my mom. Yeah. Look, about the movies next Saturday and that dance next week. A previous engagement forces me not to attend. Hey, Julie.
Oh, son, how'd you make out?
I don't know, Dad. She hung up on me.
Your friends are saying that because of that, I will probably fail you in English.
Well, yeah, and one of the guys said you'd get the hatchet out.
Well, now, you listen to me, Clayton. Whether you are on good terms with my daughter or bad terms, you're going to get exactly the mark you deserve. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Wallace Cleaver, A-. Van Horn B. Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 16, Ward's Millions.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Dear, what's this entry here? The stub says $8.69, but no check came back from the bank.
Well, I couldn't get the checkbook to balance, so I wrote a check for $8.69 and then tore it up.
No, dear, they could use you in Washington.
He wanted to know when I was going to become a millionaire.
Well, I'd like to know that, too.
Hey, Beaver, look at that book. How I made $1 million in my spare time.
Yeah, that sure is neat.
Yeah, think how much you could have made if you'd have worked at it all the time.
See here, it's very nice of you. What's the book?
Yes, sir.
How I became a millionaire in 12 months.
It cost $2.98. That's a whole dollar more than the Red River Sam book.
I'm not at all sure that just reading this book is going to make me a millionaire.
Sure. Just look at the guy in the back of the book who wrote it. You look a whole lot smarter than him.
You take $500 and you buy an option on a $10,000 lot for 30 days.
Why do we do that?
Because you know a big manufacturing company needs it for an employee's parking area.
Well, doesn't the man that owned the lot know that?
He's in Europe and he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, Beaver, when your father's a millionaire, you think you'll go to the same school?
Nah, I'll probably have to go in them rich schools. I gave him a book on how to be one, and in 12 months we're all gonna be rich.
Look, Beaver, why don't you stop dreaming for once, huh? Dad can't be a millionaire just because you gave him some dumb book.
Cost $2.98. It's not a dumb book. said you'd put it in an honored place in your library, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did.
Then I was going to give it to Whitey so that his father could be a millionaire. And then Wally said it was a dumb book and you'd never be a millionaire. Then I found it in the cookie drawer, all crumbed up.
Did you really believe that if I read that book, I could become a millionaire?
Well, I guess I knew it wouldn't really happen. But I didn't think it'd get messed up so soon.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 17, Beaver's Secret Life.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Well, I think I'll be a writer.
Oh, well, that's a marvelous choice, Beaver. How did you decide on that?
Well, on account of being a writer, you don't have to go to school and know nothing.
What'd you say you wanted to be, Beaver?
I told Miss Landers I wanted to be a writer.
A writer? Boy, Beaver, you better watch it. Buttering up your teacher like that, she's liable to get wise to you and clobber you.
Hi, Dad.
Well, hello, fellas. Beaver, there you are. One genuine imitation leather diary.
Gee, thanks a lot, Dad. Hey, it's got a lock on it. What's that for? Tuesday. Went to school. Had lunch. Came back home. Wednesday. Went to school. Had lunch. Came back home.
Just can't read Beaver's diary.
What is the only thing that's left to do? If we find out what he's been doing, maybe it'll help us find him.
But it's such a sneaky thing to do.
Oh, Ward, we're his parents. Oh, we owe it to him to be sneaky once in a while.
Went fishing, caught fish, ate it raw, got sick, came home.
Eat a raw fish.
Went to State Street Bridge. Did handstand on railing. Policeman came, ran home.
But we did find out about these, and we've got to do something.
Well, June, I can't just go up there and say, son, I know everything you've been doing because I picked the lock on your diary.
I read in his diary.
You were looking at his diary again?
Well, I was turning the mattresses, and I guess I turned a few pages. Well, he and Whitey took a shortcut home from school yesterday. Do you know that those two boys paddled an old raft across Miller's Pond?
Miller's Pond? Well, that water's ice cold and it's 20 feet deep.
Yes, and I think they did it again today.
Talking about things that are really dangerous, like doing handstands on the bridge, or hitchhiking on trucks, or floating rafts on Miller's Pond.
Gee, Dad, how'd you find out I was doing all that stuff?
You didn't do them?
I was gonna be a writer, and all the real stuff I was doing sounded creepy. So I just made up a whole lot of junk so that when I started writing books, I wouldn't be writing a whole lot of dumb books.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 18, Wally's Track Meet.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Looks like we're all going to be able to drive up to Linwood to that track meet Friday afternoon.
Gee, Dad, I thought you had some kind of a meeting in the office.
I postponed it. And your mother's not going to the luncheon, and we're going to pick Beaver up after school.
I'm in the traveling squad. You're third man on the shot put. What'd your pop do, bribe the coach?
What do you mean? Got a practice ought to have been #1, except I've been too busy studying. Is that right, Eddie? Oh, sure. Anyway, as manager, I told the coach to give you a break. I think she's a wise guy. Hey, pal.
Just having a gay time by yourself, huh?
Well, kinda.
All right, Cleaver. Nobody's too important for this team, so you're off it for a week.
Gee, Wally, that's a tough break.
Look, Lumpy, why didn't you say something? It was you and that wise guy Eddie that started it.
Well, I would have. But my pop is driving up to Linwood to watch me tomorrow. And I just couldn't disappoint Daddy.
Promise I won't embarrass you by telling people in the stands that you're my son. And your mother won't stand up and squeal, "Come on, Wally," when you're running.
Sure, Wally. We won't even let anybody know you belong to us.
I don't think I can do that either. Because I'm not riding up there with him.
Wally, is there some trouble about this meet?
Well, kinda, I am. I got kicked off the team.
You got kicked off the team?
Just talking to my lad Clarence. He tells me your boy was dropped off the track team today.
Well, that was certainly nice of Lumpy to tell you that, Fred.
Tough break, old man. Gwen and I had thought we could get together for dinner after the meet and have a little fun fest.
But I don't believe that Wally did it.
Oh, June, come on, let's face it, dear. Our boy just isn't a little angel.
Why, of course he is. You ought to see how sweet he looks when he's asleep.
Well, I want you to go to Coach Henderson and tell him you started all that stuff about the towel fight.
Hey, Beav, you got out of your skull or something? I got suspended off the team for throwing towels. But I was the one who really started it.
You were?
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna phone the coach tomorrow and tell him it was all my fault.
You're gonna do what?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Rutherford called a few minutes ago. He talked to the coach, and Lumpy admitted that he started the towel fight.
Well, that certainly doesn't sound like Lumpy, does it?
Just a minute, Beaver. This doesn't take Wally off the hook. It just means that Eddie and Lumpy can't go either.
But, well, gee, Dad, they started the whole thing about the towel fight and everything.
Yes, but Wally threw towels too.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 19, Beaver's Old Buddy.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
Beaver has a friend coming over to spend the weekend. I'm going to put him in here. I'm going to put Wally in the guest room tonight.
Oh. Well, who's Beaver's friend that's coming over? Whitey? Gilbert?
No, Jackie Waters.
Oh, yeah. He just lived down the street from us when we were over on Maple Drive.
Waters. Isn't he the kid with the teeth?
Most of my friends got teeth.
No, I mean the teeth that kind of overlap each other. You know, when he'd take a bite out of an apple, he'd make a mark like a pair of pliers.
Hi, Beaver. Hi, Jackie.
Where are you?
What happened to your teeth?
My teeth?
Yeah, they used to overlap.
We had Jackie's teeth straightened, Beaver.
Yeah. What's the matter, Beav? Wasn't it fun for you either? Gee, I didn't feel anything. At the other house, I used to feel scary and seasick and all kinds of neat stuff. I get a couple of dead rats and go over to the park, throw them with girls. Nah. The way I feel, the fun's even gone out of dead rats. Hey, Beaver. I'm not having much fun.
The Beaver's upstairs goofing off and his friends in the den moping.
No, I don't think it's that bad, Wally. But do you think they had a fight or anything?
Nah, I think they just got tired of each other.
Syrup for my French toast?
Well, of course you can, Beaver. But where's your friend? Isn't he coming down for breakfast?
He says he doesn't feel good.
Was he sick?
Oh, he's not bathroom sick. He's just lying down sick. Pass some milk, please.
My shot, he almost missed the whole garage.
Oh, sure. Try again, Jackie. Hey, this is really fun, huh, fellas?
Yeah, sure, Dad.
Well, getting closer there. It's fine. 20 points behind. Just gonna have to make it up on this next round, huh? All right, partner. Here you are.
He went in the house, Dad.
Yeah, I think he was tired of having such a good time.
You and Jackie get your coats on, then we can get going.
Oh, Jackie can't come on account he's waiting for his parents.
Oh, they're not going to pick him up until 6 o'clock.
Oh, yes, they are. He called them about a half hour ago, and they're on their way over to get him now.
Say thank you for a nice time to Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver, Jackie.
Thanks for a nice time, Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver.
You're entirely welcome.
Yeah, invite him over again sometime.
Come on over again sometime.
I guess you're a little upset, aren't you, Beaver?
Sure, Dad. I planned all week on having such a good time with Jackie, and it just turned out creepy. Gee, Dad, you mean I'll never have any fun hollering to a drain pipe or looking for pollywogs anymore?
Well, I'm afraid it'll never be as much fun as it once was, Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver.
Episode 20, Beaver's Tonsils.
Starring Barbara Billingsley.
We're sick.
He's sick?
Yeah. I don't think he's faking or anything because he's got all his homework done.
Well, did he say what the trouble was?
Well, I asked him, and he said he felt like he was going to croak.
His tonsils do seem a little inflamed.
Oh?
He's had a lot of colds lately. Maybe he'd be better off without them.
Colds?
No, the tonsils. Now, this isn't going to bother you at all. Just turn your head. That's the boy.
Kirby was here. He may have to have his tonsils out.
Yeah, no fooling. Hey, when Lumpy Rutherford had his tonsils out, he He brought them to school in this little jar. They were floating around in the alcohol like a couple little sausages. Then when...
Wally, please.
Hey, what hospital are they gonna take you to, Beav?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I can't cut you up at home. It's against the law.
How do you know so much about tonsils, Richard?
On account of my brother had them.
Boy, he's really scared about having his tonsils out, Dad.
Oh, now, Beaver. Look, I don't know what Richard told you this afternoon, but there's nothing to it. I had my tonsils out when I was just about your age.
There weren't a whole lot of mean nurses, were there?
Well, I had one nurse, but she was quite young and pretty. And she was very nice to me.
Did she have golden hair?
Yeah, I think she did.
I almost wouldn't mind having my tonsils out. Pretty nurses waiting on me and ice cream and all.
I'll bet you're just making this up, Beaver. How come you're back in school if you have to have your tonsils out?
'Cause I'm better now. Anybody knows they can't operate on sick people.
Wally, did you ever have anything yanked out of you?
No,
Did Mom?
I don't think so.
Boy, me and Dad are gonna be the only ones in the whole house who ever had an operation.
How are they, Doctor?
His throat's coming along fine, and so are his tonsils.
You mean they won't have to come out?
No. Unless there's a sudden flare-up, it looks like Beaver and his tonsils can grow old together.
Because I told everybody I was gonna have my operation. Well, they were gonna bring me presents and people would come to see me at the hospital. And that mean old Dr. Kirby came and spoiled the whole thing.
Hey, what did the guys at school say when you told them you weren't having your tonsils out?
Oh, they didn't get mad at all. I kind of get to keep the presents they bought me.